on a problem is number 1? Multiplication, how do we know? Top of the parentheses. Now, if you forgot, or you left out early yesterday, or last night when you were doing your homework, Jalen, you say you forgot, on the back of the sheet you have from Tuesday, it is a decimal review. And it has all 4 steps up there at the top. Steps of how to add, steps of how to subtract, multiply, and divide.
On addition, you line the decimals up.
On addition, you line the decimals up. Yes, sir.
And then how behind
Nope, you just line it up and bring it straight down. Addition and subtraction, you line it up.
Adding and subtracting, yes.
check.
What's going to happen if I say we're going to take this one, this one, this one for a grade? Yes. Because y'all know that we grade homework every now and then.
Probably need to grade 2 or 3 in a row, get them in the habit of doing homework.
Homework. Probably may have to. For some reason, we're conditioned to not want to do our homework. Caroline, put that back. All right, number 1, if you look at the cheat sheet that we gave you on Tuesday at the very top, if you forgot your rules, what does it say about multiplying? How do we multiply with decimals?
Like the decimals, yeah.
Very good, Jalen. Like the decimal's not there.
So if I set this up, and I'm supposed to multiply it like the decimal's not even there, can I write it without the decimal there?
Yes.
So I could do 45 times 13. Because it also says later, go back to the problem and find out how many numbers are behind the decimal. So I'm going to go back up here anyway to find out what it is. Alright, so what is 3 times 5?
15.
Carry your 1. What is 3 times 4?
12.
Plus 1. Done with the ones place. Put a 0 down to hold it. 1 times 5. 1 times 4.
4.
You add that together, you get 585. 585. What does it say next?
Which is
Go back to the problem. How many digits are behind the decimal?
2.
1, 2. There's 2 behind the decimal in my problem. There should be 2 behind the decimal in my answer. Where's the decimal at in 585? At the end. We're going to move it to the right 2 places?
No,
To the left 2 places. So you should get 5 and 85 hundredths.
Are we finished?
No, it's a negative.
Go back and check your signs. This is a positive. This is a negative. I know for multiplication, different signs gives me a negative. Negative 5 and 85 hundredths. That's the last step of every single problem. Check your signs. See if it can reduce.
All right, what kind of problem do we have on number 2? An adding. So what does it tell us on our decimal review that we do when we're adding decimals? What do we have to do with those? Line them up. Good. So we're going to line up our decimals.
0.23, 0.5. This is an adding problem. Actually, first I have to look at my signs. Do I have same signs or different?
Same size.
Same signs.
What
So
do I
I'm going to add and keep the sign.
Very good.
I write that on there so I don't forget. And if I make a mistake, it's very easy to say, oh, well, you said you were supposed to add and you're actually supposed to subtract. Write them on there so it's very easy to see our issues. I've got an empty spot right here.
Put 0.
Put a 0 in there to hold that spot. Did I change the value of that 5? No. 0.5 and 0.50 is still the same as 50 cents. Alright, so we already know we're adding. 3 plus 0? 3. 2 plus 5. My decimal comes straight down. 0 plus 0. What's this K stand for? Same sign as I've added.
Negative.
Keep the sign, so it's got to be negative. Questions on that one?
Alright, what are we doing on number 3? Dividing. The first thing we have to look at before we can divide is what? We have to make sure we're dividing with decimals. If you don't know, go back and look and think about it. Can we divide by decimals? No.
Can the number on the outside, your divisor, can it have a decimal in it?
No.
No. When it's written side to side like this, how do we set it up? What goes our dividend? What goes inside the house? The first number. So 7.21 goes inside. It is our dividend. 7 goes outside. Do we have a decimal as our divisor outside? No. So my decimal goes straight up into my answer. Good. All right, what's next? Divide like normal. 7 will go into 7. 1 time. 1 times 7 is 7. Subtract. Bring down your 2. I see a lot of mistakes with this right here. Oh, wait a second. I see a lot of mistakes with this. Y'all will see 7 won't go into 2, so you go straight to bringing down the 1.
You got to put a 0 on top.
You've got to hold this place value. We've shown you this before. Separate each place value. If you skip this, there's nothing in the tenths place. 7 will go into 2 0 times. You have to put that 0 up there. It holds a place. Because if you don't put that there and you bring down this 1, 7 goes into 21 3 times, it looks like 1.3 if you don't put that 0 there. And it's not 1.3. It's not 1 3/10. It's 1 3/100. Big difference.
So
That's
you
why when
need
we-
to put those lines like Mr. Martin has up there so you can see.
If you're working on it at home, you can take your paper and turn it sideways and the lines are already drawn for you. Keeps everything lined up. And then always go back and check your signs. I have a negative divided by a positive. Different signs is going to give me a negative. Negative 1 3/100. Questions on that one?
I heard a lot of you come in and say that you didn't do the back of the sheet because you forgot about decimals. Does anybody have a question here?
And you got a sheet that's got all of the instructions on there.
It's called decimal review. It's got your rules.
Session. Right here. It was the back of the sheet we did yesterday. This was the sheet we did yesterday. You did yesterday for homework. The back of it. Adding decimals, what to do. Subtracting decimals, what to do. Multiplying decimals, what to do. Dividing decimals, what to do. It's all on there. It should be in your folder, one flip away. Sorry, I keep shooting your stuff. All right, number 4. The student council has raised $510 for dances. Over the next 4 weeks, they spend $80 each Friday night for dances, and this is over 4 weeks. How much does the student council have left after the 4th dance? So what did we start with? There's a couple different ways you can set this up. What did we start with? Started with 510. I'm going to slide this up so those of you on the back can see. I started with $510. Now, it says over the next 4 weeks, we're going to spend $80 each week. 2 ways we can set this up. We can figure out how much they spent over 4 weeks, or We can just write it up here. Spend $80 one time, spend $80 two times, spend $80 three times, spend $80 four times. How do y'all see it? Y'all want to figure out the total that they spent?
Say it, Caroline, what
I
you got,
see
baby?
it 80 times 4.
Okay, so Caroline is figuring out how much they spent total. 4 weeks, $80 each week. So Caroline saw 80 times 4. What is 80 times 4? 320. 8 times 4 is 32. Add that 0 back on there. If you didn't see it that way, and let's finish this one first. If we spin it, what does that mean do? Subtract. If you didn't see it that way, we started with 510. We spent $80 1 week. We spent $80 2 weeks. We spent $80 3 weeks. We spent $80 4 weeks. And we want to know what's left. It is, but this right here is same number being repeated over and over and over again. That's what multiplication is. If you put all of these 80s together right here, you're going to get this. But not everybody sees to do this, so this is okay. It works. So what is 510 minus 320?
190.
190. That would be 0, that would be 9, and that would be 1. So yes, there is $190 left over after the fourth dance. This down here works with smaller numbers, but you're going to have to subtract more. Still give you the same answer though. Questions? Don't let word problems throw you for a loop. We've worked on finding these words. We've worked on positive and negative words. We've worked on all of this. Y'all know it. Slow down. Don't be intimidated by it. Pick out what you need. Thank you.
Any questions, 1 through 4? All right, put your pink sheet up and get out your homework. I don't want to hear any chatter about anything about our homework. I just want it to get out.
Don't
Get
want
on
to
your
hear an
desk.
excuse. We're going to pull sticks. Let you call out your answers, what you got. 1 through 12. They're giving you one piece of fraction, decimal, or percent. You had to come up with the other two.
Mr. Martin. I'm telling you.
Does everybody have theirs out? All right. Number 1, they gave us the fraction 3/10, or 3/10. What did you get for your decimal, Jalea? You got what? Say that one more time. 0/10, but it was 3/10. How did you get 0/10? How do we change a fraction to a decimal? We had the fraction 3/10. How do we change a fraction to a decimal? You can divide it out. Or, in this case, read this fraction.
You got 1 0, you got 1 0, so it's gonna be
3/10. How do you write 3 in the tenths place as a decimal? 0.3. 3 is in the tenths place, but we told you you can divide it out. Top dog goes in the house. 10 will go into 3 0 times, so I put my decimal and I add my 0. 10 will go into 30 3 times. You got the same thing we just said when we read it. Alright, Shalia, knowing that we've got this as our decimal, what now is our percent? 30%. And how did we get that? How do we go from a decimal to a percent? Anybody? 2 places to the right. Fill in your empty loops with a 0. Bless you. Alright, and our order is fraction, decimal, percent. FDP. So you can see from a decimal to a percent, we had to go to the right. Alright, number 2. They gave us the decimal. 0.02. What did you get for your fraction, Kason? 2 over 100, but 2 over 100 can reduce. They're both even, so you know what can come out of it. A 2. Okay, so what do you get down to after you reduce? One over 50. 1/50th. Yes. And Kason, what's your percent? Okay. Well, we just told you what we're doing, going from a decimal to a percent. So what's it going to be?
50. No, they're not.
I'm on Kason right now. Look right here, going from a decimal to a percent. What do we do? Okay, so what's it going to be? If you move that decimal 2 places to the right, what's it going to be? Okay, and fill in that empty loop with a, oh, no, you're right. 2%, that is correct. 2%. All right, any questions on that one? Number 3, they gave us 86%. What did you get for your decimal, AJ? .86. And what did you get for your fraction? .43 over 50. Yes, 43 over 50 is correct.
How you get 43 over 50?
Because you would have put 86 over 100. Because 86 is in the hundredths place. They're both even, so you can reduce. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Half of 86 is 43. Half of 100 is 50. Always go back and check and see if you can reduce. All right? Number 4, they gave us 15 over 16. Larkin, what did you get for your decimal? This is a challenging one right here. What did you get?
Why didn't you do that one?
All right, get ready on the next one because I'm coming back to you. What did you get on this one? Caitlin? Not very. All right, why are we not doing this one? Just because it's got a couple bigger numbers? Who's got this one? Levi, what you got? 0.9375, yes. 0.9375. Those of us that didn't do it, where we just didn't want to divide 15 by 16, was that the issue? 0.9375.
Number 4?
Number 4. Looks like we need to see that one. We had 15 over 16. To get our decimal, we do what? We divide. Top dog goes in the house. Y'all can't be lazy with this. If you get one like this on the test and you skip it, that's 2 wrong right there because you didn't do decimal, you can't do percent. Y'all can't be lazy with this. Top dog, 15, goes in the house. 15 will go into 16, 0 times. Put my decimal, and it goes straight up. Add my 0. 16 into 150. Well, I know 16 times 10 is 160, and that's too much, so I'm going to come over here to the side, and I'm going to start with 9. Just to see, because I don't know my 16 facts. It's going to take a little work. This is why I say we can't be lazy right here. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 5 is 14. So 9 got me 144. When you subtract here, you got 6. Bring down, add a 0 and bring it down. 16 into 60 now. Okay, I heard some 3s. 16 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 48, that's only 12 away, and I can't go another 16, so we're good. That's 48. When I subtract this, we just said we were 12 away. 12 away. Add a 0, bring it down, because we can only stop when what? One of 2 things. What are they? Repeating or terminating. And what's terminating mean? We get a 0 when we subtract. It ends. Good. Glad y'all remember that vocabulary. All right, 16 into 120. Well, 9's 144. I heard somebody say 7. 16 times 7. 6 times 7 is 42. 7 times 1 is 7. Plus 4 is 11. So 7 times is 112. We get 8. Have I repeated yet? Did I get a 0? No. Add a 0, come on down. Mr. Martin, this is too much work. Y'all are in 7th grade. It's going to get a little more difficult each year. Alright, 60 into 80. Heard somebody say 5. 16 times 5. 6 times 5 is 30. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. Was this terminating or repeating? Terminating. I got a 0 at the end.
Now I've walked around, had 2 here, Caitlin had hers, and Stephanie has hers. I don't know about the decimals, but a lot of you don't have this sheet completed. And some of us are not sitting here giving our best attention. Now we're going to start grading homework every day if we're not going to practice at night. Because what's happened is you're not practicing at night, and then we'll take our quiz, and what do our quizzes look like? Messed up is right.
It looked like your homework. You didn't do your homework, so you didn't practice for your quiz. We're taking a checkpoint today over this. A little formative quiz. My bet is, and y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, my bet is y'all didn't want to have to divide 16 into 15. Was there any other reason we didn't try that one? Forgot's not an excuse. Y'all are better than this. Come on, man. All right, so if that's our decimal, what is our percent going to be?
93.
Move it to the right 2 times. You get 93.75%. 93 and 75/100%. All right. Number 5, they gave us 0.125. All right, Larkin, I'm coming back to you. What is our percent? 12.5%. What's our fraction? It would be that, but it can reduce. I see a 5 in both of them, so I can at least take that out. What'd you get, Jalen?
180.
Should have ended up with 1/8. 125 over 1,000 will reduce all the way down to 1/8, which means you can take 125 out of it. That's the biggest, but most of us probably didn't see that. So you divide by 5 until you get down. Anybody need to see that? Are we okay? All right. Caitlin, I'm coming back to you for number 6. They gave us 6%. What's your decimal? Close. We got to move it 2 times. 2 times to the left would make it. Welcome to Caitlin. 0.06. Now take a quick glance. See if you need to adjust your fraction, because it's coming next. What did you give for your fraction? It wasn't tenths anymore, we just changed it to hundreds now. That's why I say take you a glance. It would be 6 over 100, but 6 over 100 can reduce.
I'd say 50.
And it would be, Trayvon, what'd you say? 3 over 50 or 3/50ths. Anybody need to see that one? You need to see that one, which part? Going from a decimal to a fraction? Okay. So they gave us 6%. And when we have our fraction, decimal, percent, they gave us percent. To get to decimal, I have to go left, and we know it's 2 places. My decimals always have to end if they don't give us one. 1, 2. Fill in your empty loop with a 0. So my decimal is 0.06. And then this 6 is in the what place? Tenths, hundredths. Or you could say 1, 2 numbers behind the decimal, so I need 2 zeros in my denominator. You get 6 over 100. Both of these are even, so I can at least take a 2 out. Divide by 2, divide by 2, you get 3 over 50, which is what our final fraction was. You see that now? Okay. All right, moving on to number 7. They gave us 7 over 9. What did you get for your decimal, Kaylin?
She's not here.
She's not here today. Amy.
0 for decimal. 0.77 hundredths at the bottom.
Okay. So this one, what was that called when you had to put that bar notation on there? Repeating. All right, so you would have had 0.77 or 7 with a bar notation. All right, and what did you get for your percent? 77%. Make sure you have that bar notation on there. It doesn't stop.
What was the decimal she said?
0.77 with a bar notation on there. Good. number 8, Levi. They gave us 0.44. What is our percent?
44%.
44%. Good. What is our fraction?
44 divided by 4.
You can divide by 4. What do you get?
11 over 25.
11 over 25. Perfect. He told you he got 44 over 100, but it could reduce. He told you it reduced by 4. When he divided both by 4, he got 11 over 25. Awesome job right there. All right, number 9. Keelan. They gave us 62.5%. What is our decimal? To go from percent to a decimal, we have to move it 2 places to the left. So put your pencil on that decimal point and move it 2 places to the left. And tell me what your new decimal is. 0.625. Now you may not have this reduced, but you should be able to at least initially set it up for me. What would your initial fraction be before we reduce? 625 over what? Better say it. Thousands. 625 over 1,000. Well, we know that can reduce. Who has what it reduces to? Number 9. Who has what the fraction reduces to? What you got? 5/8. Yes. Should be 5/8. Anybody need to see that one? We're good? Everybody that either didn't do theirs or didn't get their paper yesterday, filling this in as we go? Or y'all just kind of sitting there staring off into space? That was number 9. The fraction was 5/8. Y'all got to give us some effort now. You're not just going to pass because you're sitting in here breathing the air. You got to engage your brain. All right, number 10. They gave us 13 over 25. Nate, what'd you get for your decimal?
0.13.
Not quite. Not quite. Emil, what did you get for your decimal on 10? You got the same thing.
How was that 0.13?
Let's look. We had 13 divided by 25. 25 will go into 13 0 times. How many of y'all put 25 on the inside there that got 13? Okay. 0 times, my decimal comes up. 25 will go into 130 a lot more than one time. That's why. 25 will go into 130 more than one time. Those of y'all that said 0.13, you said 1 comes next. So something's off on that. Let me see how you set yours up.
When I worked it out just then, I got
Where did you work it out on here?
on my
Where's your work at? Let me see what you did. You don't have any work. Hard to help y'all if y'all don't have any work now. So you should have ended up with 0.52. It would have went 5 times. 5 quarters is $1.25. Subtract 5. 0. 25 will go into 50. 2 times. So you should have ended up with 0.52. My bet is those of y'all that got 0.13 put 25 inside and left 13 out. That's my guess. But without seeing your work, I can't tell you for sure. Alright? What what's our percent on this? If it was 0.52, Nate, this was your problem originally. If it was 0.52, what's my percent going to be?
52%.
52%, good. It's like the division is still slipping up on us a little bit. All right, number 11. Sean's not here. Caden, number 11, they gave us the decimal, 0.1. Let's start with the fraction. What is your fraction on this one? 1 over 10, 1/10, good. And what is your percent? 10%, perfect. No reducing needed on that one. Anybody have any questions on that one? All right, number 12. Tucker. They gave us 20.8%. What is our decimal going to be? All right, look up here at our letters. Fraction, decimal, percent. They gave us percent. To get to a decimal, I have to do what? 2 times to the So if you move that decimal 2 times to the left, what's it going to be?
0.8.
Put your pencil on that decimal in 20.8. Move it 2 times to the left. It's Tucker's turn. Where's the decimal now going to be? Where's the decimal going to be? Put your decimal on that decimal point in your percent. Go over to your percent. Put your pencil on that decimal point. Now move it 2 times to the left. Where's it going to be at? In front of the 2. So now read that number. 0.208. Yes. 0.208. All right. And then who has our fraction for that one? What you got? 26 over 125. Does anybody need to see that one? You started with 208 over 1,000. Okay? It was 208 over 1,000. We reduced it to 26 over 25. All right, Tucker, you had 0.208. Right? That's what you just told me? Okay. If you know your place values, that 8 is in the thousandths place, so it's going to go over 1,000. If you don't know your place values, there are 1, 2, 3 numbers behind the decimal, so there needs to be 3 numbers and 3 zeros in my denominator. Okay? Both of these are even, so I can at least take a 2 out, but I see 4 will go into 20 and 4 will go into 8. So I know 4 will go into 208, and I know I can break 100 apart into 4. Okay? So either way, which way did you see it? Did you see 2 or did you see 4? You saw 4? Okay? Divide by 4, divide by 4. 4 will go into 20 5 times, 4 will go into 8 2 times. And then I can break 100 apart into 200 or 25. I covered up that 0, so I have to add my 0 back. But they're still both even. So I've still got to take another 2 out. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Half of 50 is 25, so another one would be 26. And then half of 250 is 125. And if you, I did a lot of those in my head, but if you need to, you come over here and you set it up. So we'll go into 5 2 times, that's 4. 2 will go into 12 6 times, that's where 26 came from. So we ended up with 26 over 125. Questions on 1 through 12? I know a lot of us skipped several. And we're disappointed in that. But we do want to make sure you know how to do this. Does anybody have any questions on going from fractions to decimals, decimals to percent, back and forth? The biggest thing that I see is taking the time to divide it out. That's the biggest issue that I see. Alright, number 13. This is just kind of going into what we're going to do next. We know how to turn fractions into decimals. We need to know how to handle these decimals when we have them. So, number 13, we had 8.5 plus 2.1. What did you get, Stephanie? 10.6 is correct. Good. Questions on that one? Alright, 14. What did you get, Todd?
11.92.
11.90 what?
93.
11.93. Good. Questions on that one? Okay, number 15. What did we get, Trayvon? 5.98. 5 and 9800ths. Questions on that one? Alright, flip over to the back.
What was number 14?
14 was 5 and 9800ths. 5.98. Oh, 15, I'm sorry, 15 was 5.98. 14 was 11.93. Alright. Does anybody need to see fractions divided into decimals? Because that was the one that we struggled on the most. Or does everybody kind of get it from what we just did? Those of us that were struggling with the fractions, divide them out, y'all feel more comfortable now after doing what we did? Does anybody need to see another one? We told you we're about to take a little checkpoint. You need to be comfortable with it. One more. Was there a fraction on there that you struggled with the most? Or you want me to just make one up? Alright, let's do 7/8. Alright, those of you that struggle with the fraction to a decimal, we were asked to do one more, so make sure we're paying attention. Whenever we do a fraction to a decimal, what does this division bar right here, what does this bar in our fraction tell us to do? Divide. So this is 7 divided by 8, which also can be written like this, 7 divided by 8, in that order. And y'all already told me whenever it's written like this, the first number goes in the house. Well, the first number is always top dog. Top dog always gets the house. So 7 goes in, 8 stays out. Well, 8 go into 7. No, so that's 0. I got to put a decimal, and it goes straight up into my answer. And there's my 0 so that I can keep going. Is this improper? No. Is there a whole number?
No.
So there better not be a whole number in the ones place. It's going to be a 0. 8 will go into 70.
8 times.
8 times. 8 times 8 is 64. 70 minus 64 gives us 6. Did it terminate?
No.
Is it repeating?
No.
Add a 0 and keep going. 8 into 60.
5.
No.
Not 5. You go higher.
6. Let's do 5, because I see this mistake a lot. Let's do 5 for a second. We know 5's not right, so let's do 5. 8 times 5 is 40. When I subtract, I got 20. When you subtract, if it's ever bigger than this outside number, you did not go in enough. That's an easy way to tell. Okay? Whenever you put this up there and you subtract, if it's bigger than the outside number, it's not enough. Alright, so what do we want to use? 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 7 is, let's use that one because it's closer. 8 times 7, 56. 6 becomes 5, 10, 0 becomes 10. That gives me 4, 5 minus 5. Did it end?
No.
Is it repeating?
Right with you.
Add a 0, keep going. 8 into 40, 5 times. 8 times 5 is 40. It ends, it terminates. So there's my decimal. And then if I wanted to change this to a percent, what would I do? Fraction, decimal, percent. I have a decimal. To get to a percent, I write 2 times. That would be 87.5%. Questions? We're all okay now. All right.
Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. We normally have the restroom at 9, so I'm gonna try and do something that's not gonna give us enough time to do what I wanna do. Clear your desk. Mr. Martin has reviewed with you everything that you should have done for homework. The sad thing is, only about 4 of you did your homework. So only about 4 of you could really say, I don't understand, or I missed this one because of this, or can you explain this to me a little bit better?
Because right now, those of y'all that didn't do it don't know whether you know it or not. You may have questions, but you don't know what questions to ask because you didn't try it to see where you got stuck at. Always important to do your homework. We're not giving it to you just to waste time, just because we want to be mean.
Alright, so we are going to have a checkpoint before we leave in just a little bit. There's only 7 questions, so that means that they are kind of weighted a little heavy. But before we do those, when all desks are cleared, I am going to give you a note card. Don't worry about what anybody else's note card has on it. Don't look at anybody else's note card. I want you to take the note card you have and convert it to the other 2 options. So if you have a decimal, you're going to make your decimal a what? A percent and a fraction. If your note card has a fraction, you've got to convert your fraction to either a decimal and a percent. Does that make sense? So you are getting something on your note card. Some of you will have fractions, some of you will have percents, some of you will have decimals.
But you still have to do the other 2.
You have to figure out what your other 2 are. Once you figure that up, you have it written down on a sheet of paper or wherever, then we're going to see if you can match up to the people in your class. So somebody in the class will have your decimal form, somebody will have your percent, and somebody will have your fraction. The thing of it is, there can be no talking. If you get caught talking, you're disqualified. You have to sit back down. And it's going to be timed. So you don't have time to sit there and try to figure it out and then walk around. We're going to give you a few minutes to figure it up, and then we're going to say to stand up and find your partners. The first 3 groups that go together will get points on their checkpoint. Does that make sense? So if you're talking, your group has to sit down. It's an activity to try and figure out if you can match up with somebody without talking. Oh, they're kind of together. Do you want to mix them up?
Just work it out on a piece of paper. Don't write on the paper.
So after the last one's passed out, we'll give you just a few minutes to figure it up. And then we'll give you a few minutes to find your partner.
This is just one chance for you to practice for those of y'all that did not attempt your homework last night. No, do not write on my card.
Just so I don't have a card this morning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, you have 2 minutes. That's a percent. Make it a fraction, make it a decimal.
somebody just got, what were you given? We gave you this, somebody's got this card, somebody's got this fraction. And all three are gonna get together. Now make that a percent. All right, so when you get finished, you have either a fraction, or you have a decimal, or you have a percent. You, on your paper, are supposed to find the other two. Okay? Somebody else in this room has the percent that's on your paper. If you got a fraction, somebody has your number of percents. If you got a decimal, somebody has your percent. Somebody else has your fraction. So there should be three of you that all have the same fraction, percent, and decimal on y'all's three papers. And y'all have to find each other and group together. Don't worry about the other one. Okay, wait just a second, because we're going to tell you to go in just a minute to find somebody to match up. 31/200. Okay. Is this one that's supposed to be out? Or not?
It's out.
Okay. We've been dealing with everything over 100. So what is half of 31? Because half of 200 is 100. So what is half of 30? You want to divide it out 31 inside the house.
Leave out.
Put a 2.
Put that down, baby.
Or you can put 31
You got it.
inside and put 200 on the outside and then divide it out if you're going to do it that way.
But I like it.
Okay, so keep going. You're not done yet. Decimal, 0. Zero down to the gold 10. Okay, so it's 15.5.
Yep.
So that's
You're
going
good.
to be 15.5 over 100. So write that down. It's going to come 5 over 100. Over 100. Okay. So now, to divide by 100, you move it to the left 2 times. And that'll give you your decimal. So what's your decimal?
All right, here we go. Everybody, when I say 3, you need to hold your card up, take your work where you work, and you need to get into sections of 3 people. All right? On your mark, get set, let's copy move. How very.
You only move it you gotta move it 2 times.
Here we go, let's get back up.
2 times to the right to go to the decimal to a percent.
We got a group, we got a group.
Looks like we got a group over there, Mr. Mayor.
Got a group other first. Are y'all together? Let's see what you got. Who y'all with? All right, bring y'all sit on there, y'all agree. Find your partner without speaking. We got 2 groups. No 2 of y'all go together.
If everybody will hold up their card and have their paper in their hand, you're going to be able to see what numbers you're looking for. So if you're looking at your paper and you see a fraction, somebody's going to be holding up that card with your fraction on it. Or if you're holding up a decimal and you look on your paper, you're going to see a percent. You need to go walk around until you find that percent. Once there's a group of 3, you know you don't need to check those people anymore. You don't need to check those people because they've already grouped together. So it looks like these two right here are looking for a fraction. People looking for a fraction. Levi, what did you get as your decimal? Okay.
Everybody should have two partners except for Trayvon and I. There's only two of us with Trayvon. Mr. Martin makes our third.
All right, so we got three. Y'all three are together? Y'all three are together? So everybody's found their match.
Any questions on how you found your partner? Everybody see how you worked your workout?
If you don't see how they got something on your card, you need to ask a question.
Because that's what we're fixing to take our checkpoint over, is taking one of these and binding the other two parts.
So everybody's good.
Everybody's good?
All right, I'm going to come by and take your cards. Once I have your card, you can have a seat.
All right, so Tucker, I believe your group was the first group, right?
They cheated. They were talking about it before you had it.
We was really the first group. That's
I
why
think
she
both of
left
those
right
two were
before
about the
that.
same.
All right, so John and Jalen go together. All right, how do you
Can I go to group?
There's Shane, John, and
I can throw the paper away.
Yes, you don't need that scratch paper.
but you may go in the trash line to go to lot 2 of the restroom.
All right. If, listen for a second, that means stop talking. If you need to go to the restroom, we're going to go ahead and line up and go. If you do not, you're going to stay in here, you're going to go ahead and start your checkpoint. If you do not need to go, you can just stay in here, stay seated, and get started. Those of you going, we only have about 25 minutes left. And you don't have time to waste. There are 7 problems. Use your time wisely.
I was not that. I was I could be there. I was.
How is that
You may use the back as your scratch paper. 7 problems, take your time. Some of them are multiple choice. Some of them say to show your work. So that means that we can't just do scratch paper or write on our desk or whatever.
So can you use?
Yes, but if you show your work, make sure you show your steps on your paper. Take your time with it. Keep your papers covered. On the back, I just want you to write me a little blurb on the back about, is there something you still need help with? Are the decimals giving you a fit? Do you need more practice with dividing decimals? Do you need more help with multiplication? Are you struggling with taking a fraction to a percent? So tell me, which of the 7 questions was the easiest? Which was the hardest and why? And if there's anything that you're struggling with that you need Mr. Martin or myself to go back over, give you a little extra help on, let us know. Alright? So make sure, number 3 says show your steps. That means you cannot do that particular problem on scratch paper. You gotta show your steps. And again, on the back, which question was the easiest and why? Which one was the hardest and why? What are you struggling with? What do you need more help with? Is it our multiplication facts that are giving us trouble? Whatever it is that you think that Mr. Martin and I can do to help you a little bit better, let us know on the back. That's when you and I get to talk. On the back, what was easy, which question was easy, which question was hard. Is there anything you're struggling with? Or do you need more help with decimals, maybe multiplying decimals or dividing decimals? Or do you need more help with converting a fraction to a percent? Whatever it is that you're struggling with, let us know so that we'll know what we need to go back over before we start our big test. Be very careful. Number 3 says show your works. That means show it on this paper so I can see what you did. That's fine. For number 3, I gotta make sure that I see your steps on number 3. Everybody matched up with their partner. Everybody gets a treat. Those 6 of you, I'll give you something extra on your treat card. Has everybody found their partner? That's all 3 of y'all. Somebody says they're all over him, huh?
You supposed to get 1 and 2.
You only get 1, baby.
Hello.
Larkin. Alright, for those of you that are just coming in, everyone gets a piece of candy for matching up with your partner. Take your time, show your work. Be very careful. Step number 3 or question number 3 actually states on there to show me the steps that you use to solve that problem. On the back, which question was the easiest? Which question was the hardest? Tell me why. What was hard about it? Let me know if there's anything that you need one-on-one extra help with. Maybe multiplying of fractions, maybe multiplying decimals, maybe dividing decimals. Maybe it's converting the fractions to percents. Whatever it is, it's your chance to let us know what it is that you need extra help on. Okay, everybody got a piece of candy for matching up with their partners. Make sure the candy paper goes in the trash. If I find it on the floor, then I won't do no more candy.
Do I get a piece of candy?
I didn't get you on your desk, baby? I'm sorry. Yes, you do. I was trying to give it to him as people walked in. I apologize. Did you get a piece, Nate? You already got a piece. Where do you want that? All right, keep your papers covered. Make sure your name's on there, please don't lose 5 points because you don't know who you are. Your paper's covered. You're on the back. Remember on the back, which question was easy? Which question was the hardest? Why? What was hard about that one? Are you struggling with something? Do you still need help with converting decimals to fractions or fractions to percents? Do you need extra help with multiplying decimals or dividing decimals? Whatever it is that you need Mr. Martin or myself to know, write us a note on the back.
Finished, you've written your note on the back. Bring it over here to this small table over here, put it face down.
And I need you to get out your homework sheet. If you did not finish the back with the decimals, it needs to be finished. We will pull 1 or 2 of those tomorrow for a grade.
If you did it, you may want to check over it, knowing it's for a grade.
There's way too many of you in here that's not doing your homework. You've got to practice.
There is after-school tutoring today if you need it. The list is right there by the door. I believe today is Miss Bryant's,
So you have her last year.
which is right beside Miss Johnson's class.
You have to show me your steps and tell me, is it this word? Or is it this? Is it terminate or is it repeat? And make sure if this is the ninth decimal number, where's the decimal at?
Go back.
So that, what I would do is I wouldn't worry about this. I would make this right here, action, and then figure out which one matches it. So you've done that, all right, so we want to divide it by.
You put it face down.
You want to divide it by. So all kind of options, which one do you like? The easiest one, what does this end in? What does that end in? So what timetables do you know always ends in a 5 or a 0? Does your 2s end in 5 or 0? Do you use your 3s? 4s? 5s? And then keep going until one of these will match your
Number 4 says, what is the decimal equivalent to that percent? All that means is write the decimal. That's all that means, write the decimal to that percent. The word, don't let the wording on that confuse you.
Right now. Did that terminate or repeat?
That'll give you a decimal, and then change your decimal to a percent.
Decimal to 0.
Y'all don't make silly mistakes. Actually draw your loops on there when you're moving it, so we don't move it one time instead of 2 times. Don't make silly little mistakes. May have done it, but just make sure no silly mistakes. Easy, stay quiet for people that are finishing their test. We shouldn't be talking with a test on our desk anyway.
Oh, no, no. If you worked on scratch paper, do you want to turn in the scratch paper? We'll put the stapler over here, staple them together. Easiest or what's hardest, or you're still struggling with anything, this is your time to talk to us. Don't forget on the back, make sure you write something to us. What was easiest, what was hardest? Are you struggling with everything? Good with everything? Tell us something. Guys, come sit down. Guys, come sit down.
10 hours.
Tomorrow, we're gonna look on the back, and we're gonna have a couple of grades.
Make sure that's finished.
Make
Come
sure.
on, a lot of you did not do it yesterday. Really, Shane? Really? Really? I gotta take it out. I'm gonna do it again.
You know what?
Make it count.
Done. We'll do it tomorrow. What a grade. Did?
It's like,
You did it right.
what you making?
Little chatter, please stay quiet for those that are still working.
Alright, it's good time for the bell to ring. You need to turn your checkpoint in. Make sure that the back of that homework with those decimals is finished tonight. I think you went up and did the.
All right, we've got about 3 trying to finish up. So if you are packed up, you're ready to go, let's walk out quietly while they finish.
Alright, all prisoners need to be turned in. Everybody else needs to line up with Mr. Martin. Make sure all trash is in the trash can. I bet you. The question that was the easiest, the question that was the hardest, why was it hard? What do you need extra help on?